Hello everyone, it is Obscure Nick here today with a new video all about Miley Cyrus and her dark past with Disney Channel. The experience that has not been brought to light, and we're gonna dig at what might have went down when she was at Disney and why she rebelled the way she did. So as you know, let's deep dive and thrive. So Miley Cyrus was one of Disney Channel's biggest pop stars with an entire franchise, Hannah Montana. She was Disney Channel's golden child and moneymaker, and they exploited and milked her for everything that she was worth. The show ran from 2006 to 2011 for 4 seasons. It had a movie, it had nearly 100 episodes, and in that time she worked with Hollywood Records as well and recorded 3 studio albums. She had a 5-year relationship with Disney. There was a point where she felt done with them and wanted to let go from them, and there were clear signs of that, I think. So the first sign of that was in September 2008, there was an article that came out that Miley Cyrus was trying to literally get fired from her show Hannah Montana, which she still had she had to do a 24 episode season, which then got extended, and she wanted to get out of there. She apparently was arriving late on set, stalling production, annoying cast and crew members. Apparently, Billy Ray Cyrus, who was her father and played her father on the show, supported these antics because she would make more money as a singer rather than an actor, which I could see because it seems like that's what happened later on. When their Disney bosses found out about his comments specifically, they called his agent and branded both him and Miley as ingrates. And then it was cleared up like about a day later by a Disney Channel representative who shot down the rumors. Patty McTeague, a Disney spokesperson for Hannah Montana show, told Reuters that report of the on-set turmoil were absolutely not true, pure gossip. Cyrus is committed to Hannah Montana and she will be fulfilling her contract pretty much. But that was in terms of business speaking terms of what was going on. Now, around this time, Miley Cyrus was 16 years old. And in this next part, we're going to go into some deep, dark stuff, which I'm going to give you a trigger warning right now. There's lots of assault talking because there's a lot of really explicit stuff about to happen. So this site called Exposing SMGs is a site that has been around for a while that revealed a lot about people, like what's going on in people in child stars' life, such as Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, as the main focus. But they also did a read on Miley Cyrus. They're kind of like NT lawyers in a way, where they dig up a lot of stuff and a lot of sources contact them and everything, and they talk with this individual. They've been around for years as well, and there's a lot on that site, especially about Disney stars. So Exposing SMG, they got from an inside source that was an inside source clearly of the Disney corporate realm, which is how they knew all this information about what was going on behind the scenes, and this is all allegedly. I'm just saying we're opening up a conversation here right now. Disney would hold annual parties, which these parties were similar to Nickelodeon's No Shoe audition parties. And they all had a theme of some sort. And the theme was usually of something that is quite obsessive, like foot obsession. Connect the dots on that. I don't want to say that on YouTube, but connect the dots of what I'm getting at here. You know what I mean. These big Disney executives would make theme parties around these obsessions they had with themselves. In this time, assault was normalized at the time from what this source was saying. It was normalized. Like, it was as if it was normal behavior, which we've spoken about in past videos with Amanda Bynes. I'm not trying to sensationalize assault, but this is just how people saw it at this time because it was part of the culture. When you're part of the culture, you you just go with it. You don't back against it, because you even if you know something's wrong with it deep down, you know that this is part, you feel like this is a part of life. And that's how a lot of the culture in the industry has been like for so long, that it only took till the Me Too movement for people to truly wake up about this. And that's why I'm saying that this was a normalized culture in this industry. And we've seen so much of that with Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, those types of people. So we need to learn and we need to understand that this was part of the culture then. And that is so wrong and so horrible and so disgusting that it needs to stop. And that's why I'm speaking here today about that. So I just wanted to clear that up before people come, because I know people have been upset with me that saying I'm sensationalizing it. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that this was what it was, and this is how it was viewed back then. And we need to understand that that was the mentality of it. And it is sad. People were literally silenced and literally could not speak about this because they would not be believed, because this was the industry. This was the industry, and they knew that there were a lot of barriers that they felt like they could never get to, which was not possible back in 2008, but in 2021 it definitely is possible, because we're speaking about it now, because we have social media like these platforms. Sorry for going off on a tangent, but I just had to say that, and I think some people need to hear that, and it's hard to hear, and it's very sad and, hurtful, but this is what it was. The source that SMG alleges that Miley was assaulted at one of Disney's annual parties, and this assault was not uncommon. Disney Channel execs would have rooms that were heavily guarded by security to make sure no one enters where without permission, or leaves for that matter. Allegedly, Disney executives would throw these massive parties that had floor upstairs with these S rooms, and that were formally described as S-assault rooms, since a lot of girls that were sent there were, you guessed it, underage. From this source, the reason why these execs do this is because they get an adrenaline off of it. They love having power. People who love getting money usually love power, so assault on someone else is power to them. And this is really sick to say, that they love to have power over a children minor because they know they can't do anything about it, and it's like their dream come true, and their adrenaline really gets pumping after that. And that's how this person literally describes that as, and it's so horrific. Like, it is truly horrific. And just talking about this right now is like, oh my god, like, it's making my heart skip beats, because and this is, this is all allegedly, of course, but still there are people like this that really do exist in the world, and we need to start talking about it way more. Most of the Disney actresses were mainly the victims to it. Not saying that this didn't happen to Disney actors too, who knows, but at least with the Disney women, this is what they said happened to them specifically. And they even asked if they were open to women, men, or both. So it was all hands were free on deck, and there were definitely who were assaulters, men and women, in this. And this happened when Miley was 16, from what was being said, it's very clear. And that's when Miley was looking to quit the show. And my guess is that after she had that incident at one of those annual parties, that's when she was wanting to quit. And here's the thing, I don't necessarily trust the Disney spokesperson necessarily, because we didn't hear it from Miley's mouth, we heard it from a spokesperson's mouth. And whenever we hear that sort of thing now, I am very skeptical personally, because with Britney, there were always people speaking for her, let's not forget. And then we find out years later, oh, she's living modern day slavery here. So just gonna say that, let's not always trust the spokesperson on this because they are not always telling the truth. And we know many spokespeople who are never truthful, so let's be real here. And Miley and these other child stars, like I said again, felt like this was a part of the job. And this was a part of the life, and they had to do this contractually or something, or they wouldn't go anywhere, or their jobs would be threatened if they didn't do this. So it's quite traumatizing, and it's really disgusting and just sad. There's a reason why certain people turned out the way they are. Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, Miley, they all have their own internal issues. Even Hilary Duff, I believe, have her own issues. Hers were more not so much in front of the cameras, in my opinion. When Miley Cyrus was leaving Disney Channel in 2010, she released her final album with Hollywood Records called Cant Be Tame, a lyrically rebellious, driven album all about taking back your power and control and being free from burdens in your life. And at this time, many parents complained about Miley Cyrus being too sexy, being too dark. This is not good for my kid. You know how PA parents are like. And the media was really against her, and it went all to negative press in this time specifically. And I believe that Disney did not like this album for many reasons, because it's the darkest album that an artist of theirs has ever released. And also I believe there's a lot of things that is antagonizing to Disney Channel and its company itself lyrically, which we're about to go through a bit. Feel like this album was her least successful out of the three she did for Disney, is because of the dark image, but also because it wasn't promoted as well. And it reached number 3 on the Billboard charts, top 100, still pretty good, but it wasn't on number 1 like her other two, and it didn't sell as well as the other two. And I think that it's because Disney did not like the message, and they, you know, a lot of these press sites get paid off by certain companies to put out negative press out there. And I do wonder how they got the video. Remember the video of her smoking the bong? I wonder how they got that, because it felt during this time it was all destruction on Miley's image.
Actually smoke illegal drugs. Miley responded to that by saying, but they're not Miley Cyrus. They're not role models. So for me, it was a bad decision because of my fans and because of what I stand for. Wow, Miley admitting here it was a bad decision. Woo, good job, Miley. I think it was very wise for her to admit that. But Jerry, do you think that she owed that confession to her fans?
No, I don't think she owed it. I mean,
And I think it was people within the Disney realm that were putting out that negative press about her being a bad influence and everything, so they could destroy her. And they kept doing that for a while. From Banger's era, even in Dead Pet's era, there was a lot of bad press about her, and that she did not deserve. And I think she's one of the most artistically creative and driven people that came out of Disney Channel, in my opinion. And it's all a marketing strategy, because when they put out negative press, less people will buy it, or more people could buy it, depending on how it is framed and marketed. And when it's marketed to the press in a certain way, aka when there's certain people, when the label or people at the network are framing the album in a certain way to these press sites that isn't in a good light, such as People magazine, where they take down certain celebrities but bring up certain people like Dan S, and they cover for him because Dan S most likely paid them, as opposed to other people who send things about people who are actually doing bad and criminal things versus someone who's just changing their image. The first track on this album is called Liberty Walk. It's the opening, and it's about boys holding you back and you feeling less. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. And I feel this is a track about finding yourself, being true to yourself, and not letting anyone hold you back, which in many ways Disney did hold her back in a way from being her truly creative artistic self, as we saw in eras to come. And then this is about her walking away, and I feel like this is a mourning, this is her funeral to her leaving Disney. Who Owns My Heart and Cant Be Tamed are songs about taking control and being free from burdens, and they're about taking control of you and not letting anyone come in your way, pretty much, and being free to be who you are, and that you want to be set free. And I think those are both very powerful songs that have universal messages that I think a lot can relate to, and I love them both as singles, and I'm glad she still performs both of these to this day. Scars is one of the darkest songs off this album. Specifically the verse that that really opens up is about, yeah, I'll tell you all my secrets, all the ones I've kept inside, and I'll give you all the reasons that you faded from my life. I won't let you go, baby, come here close. I won't let you walk away. I think this song is about having PTSD and having someone not being able to deal with all your trauma that you reveal to them, and it's about opening up to someone about subjects of your own personal trauma, such as assault and childhood. And that can be quite liberating, but also nerve-wracking, because some people are so traumatized sometimes that they can't open up to anyone. And they do it in different ways, such as in music. And, you know, it's quite traumatic, and it's one of my favorite songs by her. Robot is another song all about taking control, and basically this is near the end of the album where they can't control her anymore. It's about being how you felt numb for so long, and now you're gonna finally have freedom. And I feel this was like her goodbye to Disney Channel, or a big F you to them as well, and her way of telling how she really feels. And it's a mixture of feelings of anger and sadness. And I really think everyone should go check out Robot. And I think this album is criminally underrated. And also what plays off this is that you know it was about Disney Channel is because in 2018, there was an article that came out that said Miley Cyrus came out saying that she felt powerless as a Disney Channel star and she would never work with them again. And that was in 2018 because it did extreme damage to her psyche, and she was being controlled by men in suits. That says even more to what we're saying today. Her bitterness towards Disney went as far as going on SNL saying Hannah Montana is dead, and she did a lot of music that had a lot of rebellion to it, such as Bangers, Dead Pets, even Plastic Hearts has that. She also came up with a song in 2019 that had a lot of revealing stuff in it, such as, it's called Mother's Daughter, which is about various women taking control, and you see that in the music video. And it's about her saying virginity is a social construct. And Mother's Daughter is about how beautiful everyone truly is, regardless of who they are, whether it's weight, gender, disability. And each person in the video has their own control of how they take power, and Miley has her own way of finding power in herself. And, you know, people wonder why powerful executives really sexually harass young girls is because they say it's exclusive to take one's virginity. It's like having a prize almost. And let's not forget that there was a countdown clock for the Olsen twins when they turned 18 years old. So that is also a part of the adrenaline rush. This is the narrative we have heard before with Nickelodeon as well in a similar way. This is a kind of different, but who knows, we might uncover more of this. I think Miley Cyrus is someone who is one of the most misunderstood celebrities of all time. What she was doing in her teens and 20s with like the bongs and stuff and the twerking, those are all things people of that age do. It's not something that's just part of the culture. Like, I know so many kids that do this, and I did these things at those ages too. So I feel like the world is very judgmental on teenagers, and I feel especially child starlets, and I feel we should be less judgy and understand and look in ourselves at how we were as teenagers and remember that everyone has a history, everyone makes mistakes at those age, and we all have to make those mistakes in order to grow. And it's very sickening what they did to this girl, and I think a lot of that bad press that people were giving her back then has aged truthfully terribly, and all those media people should feel sorry about it, just like the same way they did to Britney Spears. Like, really, there are worse things to talk about. How about we talk about the people like these executives who are pumping adrenaline as assaulting these starlets and hold them accountable, because I think that is something we should be seriously talking about. Okay? Anyways, that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a bit of a long one. It was a bit of a heavy one, but we got through it. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and much love to you all.